Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is not August. I'm sorry. Today is September the 4th, and there are 3 games in the W for today. We'll jump into all 3 of those. Hit the like button for me if you can as you join. Definitely helps out the show, helps out the algorithm. Yesterday, I didn't make any bets. Had I placed some bets, I would have went 1 and 2 based on the short list. The Connecticut Sun never even got off the plane or train or whatever they took to Chicago yesterday. Chicago smoked them. Didn't see that coming, but also not really, wanting to bet on suck teams that have nothing to play for. So it was easy for me to stay away from the Chicago and Connecticut game yesterday. As far as the other game, I thought the Sparks would come out and play with a little bit better effort as well. But I couldn't make a play because Alicia Gray, was on the injury report at the time I did the show yesterday morning. She ended up not playing. It didn't even matter. Sparks got smoked. It got smacked around by the Dream outside of that first quarter where the Sparks did I think they started like on a 10-0 run to start the game, but it's neither here nor there, man. Let's jump into it for today. Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool, linked in the description if you want to check it out. Jackson went 2-0 last night. Kelsey Plum over her 17.5 points. She barely got there, but she did finish with 18. And then Carmela Cardoso under 12.5 rebounds and assists. She finished with just 5. So 2-0 day for Jackson yesterday. See if Jackson can run it back today. Jackson we'll start with Veronica Burton, over her 4.5 rebounds. It says that she's been a force on the boards recently, making her rebound prop a compelling play. Has been consistently hitting the over on this line, clearing 4.5 and 100% of her last 5 games, averaging 6.2 rebounds during that span. Over her last 10 games, she's hit the over 80% of the time, averaging 5.2. Season and matchup trends. So while her season average sits at just 4.45, her recent surge is undeniable. Against the Dallas Wings this season, she's cleared the line in 66.6% of her games of the 3 matchups, averaging 5.67 rebounds. At home, where the Valkyries are 13-7 straight up, Veronica Burton has hit the over this line in 60% of her games, averaging 4.6. So Dallas Wings present a favorable matchup for Burton as their defense ranks 9th against a position, indicating that they are not an elite defensive rebounding team, an elite rebounding team. The Wings are also struggling, having lost 8 in a row and dealing with key injuries, which could lead to more rebound opportunities for the Valkyries. So Veronica Burton over 4.5 boards is what Jackson likes. I would honestly look at Veronica Burton assists. I'll pull it up when we get to Jackson, when we get to Outlier. And then the second player prop is A'ja Wilson over her points and assists, 25.5. Jackson just talked about this. Like the last time that they played, I think I have it written down on the 27th. The line was 26.5. When they were playing against, I want to say they were playing against the Dream, and she cashed that line. So Jackson's back on A'ja Wilson again today. It looks like -120 on DraftKings. It says despite facing a tough Minnesota Lynx defense, A'ja Wilson recent form and the Aces motivation make her points plus assist prop an attractive option. So a recent performance, Wilson has been performing well above this line, averaging 29.8 points and assists over her last 5 games, hitting over 60% of those contests. Looking at her last 10 games, she's cleared 70% of the time with an impressive average of 30.5 points plus assists. Her season average of points and assists is 26.4, which is also above the set line. So then you got matchup context. While the Minnesota Lynx are known for having the best defense in the WNBA this season, Wilson's numbers against them are lower, averaging just 15 points and assists in the 2 games. It's important to note that one of those matchups, she only played 21 minutes in a blowout loss. In the 2024-2025 season, last season, she hit the over 75% of her 4 matchups against the Lynx, averaging 27.75 points and assists. So then you have narrative and motivation. The Los Angeles Aces are currently on a remarkable 12-game winning streak and highly motivated to secure the number 2 seed in the league. The Lynx, having already clinched the number 1 seed, might opt to rest players or limit minutes, which could create more opportunities for Wilson to dominate. Given the high stakes for the Aces, expect Wilson to play a full, impactful game. Recommendation, A'ja Wilson over 25.5 points and assists, and Veronica Burton over 4.5 boards. Let's jump into the 2 games on the board for today. Again, hit the like button for me if you can. Got tons of free knowledge, free game I'm going to share with you guys. So let's jump into it. First game we got up is the Mercury and the Washington Mystics game we played in D.C. tonight. This line open 9. It's still 9 on some books, but it is moving to 9.5. Total has come down. Open 160 yesterday, and I see 160.5 as well, and it's down to 158. So a couple different things to take into consideration here. JC Sheldon, I don't even think she's played since she got traded from the Connecticut Sun. She's going to be out. Mercury don't have anybody on the injury report. The Mercury have won both games. They've covered both spreads against the Mystics as well. First, they were 5.5 point home favorite, and they won and covered that game. And then they were 5.5 point home favorite, and then a 8 point home favorite. They won both games, covered both games. The Mercury been on the road. They're 11-8 straight up, 9-9-1 against the spread. Only 4-5-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. However, you could say 5-5. You could say 5-4-1, depending on what number you got when they played against the Indiana Fever, because they didn't cover that late line, but we talked about the 5.5, and they did cover that. This is a 2-day rest disadvantage spot for them, but the Mercury are balling right now. They won 5 in a row. Second longest win streak, I think, on the season. And the Mercury are doing the complete opposite. This is their first game back home after a 3-game Western Conference road trip. They are 10-10 straight up at home, 9-11 against the spread, but they've been pretty mediocre recently. They've already eliminated from the playoffs. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. They've lost 7 straight. And they do have more rest before and after the game, but I just don't know. Maybe, they'll give us a good effort because they're at home. I think the Mercury should be able to dominate this game, though. Initially, when I was thinking about the game, I was thinking under. And just to talk about playoff seeding real quick. So the Mercury absolutely need this game because the Dream won last night against the Sparks. The Aces won, the last 12 games in a row, and they also play tonight. So right now, you kind of have like a little bit of a tie between the Aces and the Mercury. They have identical records heading into both of their games tonight. They both desperately need to win in order to have home court advantage in the first round. But also, you want it in the second round too. So I think that we see good efforts from both of these teams tonight. I think for this game, the best play, initially I was looking at the total. I was thinking under. Both games have gone under the total this season. We've already seen the total start to drop. 162.5 was the total in both games so far. Both games did stay under. Phoenix has played in 6 straight unders. But the more and more I look, the more and more I think that the Mercury will be able to score the basketball. I look at the Washington Mystics. They're not the defensive team that they were at the beginning of the season. If we were just to put some numbers to that, on the full season, they're 9th in defensive rating, which they started like top 6, top 5, I think. But last 5 games, they actually got a 112.4 defensive rating, which is 11th. And it's only 13 teams in the WNBA, of course. They also allow 88.8 points per game, which is 11th as well. I looked at Washington. They're 2-1 to the over as home dog, getting more than 2 possessions as well. They gave up 88 to the Mercury, same team. They gave up 91 to the Aces, 84 to Seattle Storm, and those were the 3 games as a home dog of 5 points or more since the All-Star break. Phoenix also averages 91 points as road favorites, laying more than 2 possessions. They've scored 88 or better in 5 of their 6 games as well. And Phoenix, over their last 5 games, they're also third in offensive rating, 2nd in points per game. Washington, 4th in pace. They're playing a lot faster in their last 5 games. And as I mentioned, they're 11th in defensive rating, 11th in points allowed. I think that the Mercury should be able to score the basketball. You can get a Mercury team total 83.5 and kind of stay away from the spread. I also think that they can win this game and cover the spread as well. So if I'm betting, I think the Mercury on the right side. I don't really want anything to do with the Mystics right now, especially with them not having anything to play for. Know that they got the rest advantage, but it'll be Mercury team total over for me. Just not trusting the Mystics defense. Next game up, and some Alyssa Thomas props. Like no way I could talk you guys off of anything. Alyssa Thomas, probably just her assist, because I feel like Satu Sabli had a good game last game, so it's probably Kalia Copper's time to have a good game. Like they kind of going back and forth about who's gonna have the great game. So Lynx and Aces is up next. This is probably the game of the night. Lynx actually opened as a 1-point favorite is what I saw yesterday. I'm sorry, Aces opened as a 1-point favorite is what I saw yesterday. And now we've seen a flip of favorites. The Aces are now 2-point or 2.5-point home dogs now. So money's come in on Minnesota to win this game. Total hasn't really moved a lot. Open 164.5. That's about where it still is. Injury report. Everybody is in on both sides outside of Dejanay Carrington, who's been ruled out with a shoulder injury. So Minnesota, this is a difficult game, right? Because Minnesota doesn't really have anything to play for. Jackson kind of mentioned it already. Not only do they not have anything to play for from a standings perspective, there's 5.5 games ahead of Atlanta. Atlanta can't catch them. So it wouldn't surprise me if Cheryl Reeves, who has already said that she could potentially rest players, on a given night. Last game, we saw Kayla McBride rest, and not like they needed her. The Minnesota Lynx, I think also you got to look at who they've been playing recently. They played against probably the 2 of the 3 sorriest teams in the WNBA. They played against Connecticut, and that was coming off a loss to Seattle. And then they also played against the Dallas Wings in their last 2 games. So you got to take their numbers. Granted, they're the best team in the WNBA. You got to take their numbers into consideration. I think they could be a little bit skewed because they've been playing against such terrible defenses in the last few games. But outside of them having nothing to play for from a standing perspective, they've also beaten the Aces 6 straight times. And they've covered all 6 spreads. That goes all the way back to last season. A couple of them were rest advantage spots for the Minnesota Lynx. I think the Aces are the right side, man. The last time these 2 teams played was the last time that the Aces lost a game, of course. That was on the 2nd of last month. The Aces have not lost since then. They've won 12 straight. They lost by 53 points as a 4.5-point home dog in that game. Aces also have a whole week off, to prepare for this Minnesota Lynx team. They haven't played since last Thursday compared to just 2 days from Minnesota. Minnesota, we know, best team in the WNBA, 13-6 straight up on the road, 11-8 against the spread. And like I said, their last few games, though, came against Connecticut and Dallas after losing to Seattle. And the Aces have been good at home. They're 14-5 straight up, 7-2-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. First game back home after a 3-game road trip for them. But again, hottest team in the WNBA. They've won 12 in a row, still fighting for that number 2 seed in the standings. I think the more I looked into the game from a statistical perspective and, a matchup perspective, Minnesota, the best 3-point shooting team in the WNBA. Last 5 games, they're actually number 1 in above the break 3 percentage and overall 3 percentage. They're shooting about 51% from the above the break 3. Aces are number 1 in above the break 3 defense, holding teams at 19% from the 3-point line. Minnesota also number 1 in mid-range shot, in the mid-range field goal percentage as well. And the Aces are number 4 defending that. So I know that Minnesota Lynx offense is, it can go nuclear against anybody. They did against the Aces, but I think that the Aces are the right side. It wouldn't surprise me if Minnesota rested a player or 2, and the Aces absolutely need the game, and they got, quadruple revenge in this spot. So I would be taking the 2.5 points with the home dog. The more and more I looked at it, the more I think under. The total hasn't really moved a lot. You need both teams to get about to 82 and a half. Aces offense has been so good, and I think I want to think under, but I think Minnesota could potentially not bring their best defensive effort, and the Aces could score the basketball. I know Minnesota could score the basketball, so I don't really want to bet too many unders. Initially, that's the way that I would think, but both teams are pretty slow, 9th and 10th in pace in the last 5 games, so it's a tough game. But I'll be betting the Aces before I bet anything else in this game. And then from a player prop perspective, I do think the Asia's just been going nuclear. And her and Fee, this is a matchup where, you got the whole MVP consideration now, especially now that the Aces are back in 2nd place. I think Asia, has made her case over the last 12 games. So that would be my thought process. Last game on the board, Dallas Wings and Golden State Valkyries. This game will be played in Golden State. This line opened at 10 in favor of the Valkyries. And the total open 159.5 is down to 159. I see some 158.5s out there as well. So on the injury report for the Dallas Wings, there will be no Rika Gumbawale, of course. They're down a lot of players. Misha Hans-Allen's also listed as questionable. James is also, she should be back in today. Haley Jones continues to be out for the Dallas Wings. I think it's at least her 2nd or 3rd straight game she's missed. And then on the Golden State Valkyrie side of things, they got Mo Billings back last game. Tiffany Hayes is out for at least another week, and Xander Seeley, she has not been ruled out, so she could potentially return in this game after missing. I think she's missed like the last 4 or 5 games. So you look at the spot, Dallas has nothing to play for at all. Golden State, you could say that they still got something to play for. I guess they could potentially still catch the New York Liberty for the 5th seed, but 5th, 4th, I guess they do kind of want home court advantage, but they're not going to get it. Definitely not going to be able to catch the Phoenix Mercury or the Las Vegas Aces. So you can say Golden State, don't really have anything to play for, although because they're going to make the playoffs. I think at this point, they just need 1 win, and they should be able to win this game. So do they cover though? I kind of think that they can. I don't really want a lot to do with Dallas either. Dallas has been a free falling knife to catch, led by a rookie in Paige Beckers, who's absolutely, amazing. But outside of Paige Beckers, what does this Dallas team really have? We've been talking about it for a while, right? Only 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games, 1-9 straight up in their last 10 games. They failed to cover 5 straight games out of Dallas Wings. And to be fair, their last 2 games came against 2 of the best teams in the WNBA. They just lost and didn't cover to Minnesota. They lost and didn't cover to Atlanta. And the Valkyries defense kind of goes into that same category as those 2 teams. Now, offensively, not as good, but defensively, I mean, they're going to have their hands full. Golden State at the crib is typically a team that you want to bet on when they are playing at home. We know that they are 13-7 straight up. They're 14-5-1 against the number at the crib, 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. Number one defensive team at home, number one defensive team in the last 5 games. Defensive rating of 94, number one in opponent points allowed at 69 per game as well. This is their 4th straight home game. They've won 4 straight after losing 3 straight. They've covered all 4. 2 as a dog, 2 as a favorite. Like, Valkyries are just hot right now. I would be laying the points with the Valkyries. But I also think when I was looking at the Dallas team total, I expected it to be a lot lower. It's 74.5, and I think that's a little too high. The Valkyries, not that it's a lot of, a small amount of a lot of points, but I think the Valkyries defense can hold them underneath that number as well. The Valkyries are just 4-2 straight up, 4-2 against the spread, 4-2 to the under as a home favorite this season. They allow an average of just 69 points per game if they're a home favorite. And they've held 3 straight opponents under their team total in this spot. And 4 of their 6 opponents have actually stayed under this number as well. When I look at the Dallas Wings offense, especially if they're going to be compromised, I don't think this is a team that's going to be able to score the basketball. Offensively, 10th in offensive rating on the full season, last 5 games, they're 12th. So second worst offensive rated team. They only averaging 77 points per game, which is the 3rd fewest. And even though they're playing at the 2nd fastest pace, we know that the Valkyries, slowest pace team in the WNBA, they're 13th in pace over the full season, 12th in pace over the last 5 games. So that's the way I kind of think about the game. Now, as far as player props, we just kind of talked about Veronica Burton. So I want to go over and just take a little bit deeper of a look on Veronica Burton and see if we can find Veronica Burton's assist prop. See if we can get Outlier to load real quick. All right, so let's go here. Let's go Burton, Veronica. Her assist prop, I feel like something we got to look at, especially without Tiff Hayes, right? So assist prop is here. So this was the rebound prop that Jackson liked. She's crushed the number. You can see here that 4.5 number Jackson talked about. But her assist prop is 7.5, and she's also crushed that as well. Look at this. These are her last 6 games. She's over 5 of the last 6. She's gotten to 8 at least. 9 at least in every game except 1. We look at her head-to-head matchup against them. She got to 13 in the last game. She's only played against them 3 times this season. Pretty sure Tiffany Hayes was a part of these games. If we look at her full season numbers, she's averaging right at 6 assists per game. We know that the Dallas Wings give up the most assists. We just talked about Courtney Williams go over her assist in the last game. She did cash. I think she finished with 9, even though, Natisha Heidemann had 10 off the bench as well. So we go here. We look at games played without Tiffany Hayes, who we know will not be participating. We can see that that number comes up to 7.5. So 7.65 actually. And she's over in 4 of her last 5 games. This is the full season without without Tiffany Hayes, who will not be available for this game. I think Veronica Burton over 7.5 assists is a good look in tonight's game, especially if Dallas is going to try to pace this team up. So that's my thought process on this game. It will be team total under, Veronica Burton over her assist prop. Just kind of keeping it simple. And yeah, that was Outlier, of course. If you guys are new, there's a link in the description to check out Outlier if you're interested as well. So those are my thoughts on the games for today, man. Phoenix team total over 83.5. I think that number is the best available on FanDuel. Vegas plus the 2.5. I think that they can beat Minnesota. Minnesota could potentially rest players. And in Dallas, I don't think they get to 70 points tonight against Golden State. That's my thought process. And Veronica Burton over her assists, even though I don't have that written here. Matter of fact, let's add it real quick. And that'll be the show for today after I add Veronica Burton. Maybe it's rebounds and assists. Maybe you just combine both of them, honestly. But we shall see, man. Best of luck on whatever you guys are betting. Link in the description, as always, for the plays that I make, the resources. Check all of them out. On the way out, do me a favor, hit that like button, thumbs up, share the show, drop it in the group chat, turn the notification bell on so you guys know when I go live and drop videos coming up. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy NFL Thursday as well. Dallas and Philly kicked things off tonight. I didn't make any bets in that game, but if I did, I would definitely share with you guys. I'll just kind of watch. I'll spectate, see what's going on, and wish you guys the best of luck on your action. Catch you guys tomorrow. I'm out. Happy Thursday.